Hi, I'm Alex. I'm the hiking coordinator with BCMOS this year. Today we're going to go on a hike in Pacific Spirit Park with Eric, our
Hello.
client for today.
Hello. Looking forward to it. Beautiful weather in the park, and been fortunate enough to use the Trailrider a number of times, so it should be good.
And we have a few volunteers here as well. I'm just going to let them introduce themselves. We have Colin here helping out. And we also have Aaron and Aoife, so they're going to be joining us today. So to start out, I'm just going to unfold the Trailrider and show you how it works, and then we'll get Eric hopped in there and get going.
Before we do that, Eric, you want to talk about why we're doing this?
Okay. So I'll just move a little closer to it. I guess why we're doing this is, and we're going to showcase this. This is what it looks like folded up. So the full name of it is the Trailrider, and the whole focus is that you're not intimidated. Sometimes people aren't sure what to give a try because you want to know more about it. So the whole goal of our program is to showcase that you can get out there in places that you otherwise may not be able to in a wheelchair. And I've really had some awesome experiences, and hopefully we can showcase that today. So, and we're definitely willing to invite new people to try it out, either as a hiker, and as you're going to see today, we always need volunteers. So hopefully you'll get a better understanding and want to give it a try yourself.
All right, so the first step with the Trailrider is we always want to put the kickstand down. This is what makes it nice and stable, so it's not going to tip over. So that's what we'll do first. It then unfolds and opens right up, just like a chair. We have a nice comfy cushion for it, and some pegs on either side here that just help hold it in place. So I'll put those in, just like that. So now it's pretty much set up. The last main thing to do is extend these. So this is where our volunteers are going to hold on, our Sherpas, and so that they can help carry and pull the Trailrider. Just like that. And then we also have some armrests as well. So I'll start by just putting one on here, and that way Eric can still get in on the other side. But that will help just stabilize him once he's in the Trailrider. And then also show you all the adjustments once we get him in there, but we can make it so it's a little bit more comfortable for you as well. So Eric, which way did you want to get in on the right there?
I'm going to transfer in on the left side, the side that you've left open. And as you can see, Alex has left the armrest there so I can reach and grab it. So I'm going to transfer myself over. Now I think what we're going to do is I'll get you to take the front forks off. So we lower it down a little bit so it's at a more even level. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, and then as far as a wheelchair goes, when you're transferring, obviously you're going to know it the best.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's safety practices like any other transfer. I have the power turned off. I'm just going to swing this armrest back. I'll get you to kind of help me take this back a little bit, Alex. Obviously, I got the brakes on. You want to make sure the seatbelt's removed. And then I'm going to scoot over. I'll get Alex to help turn my legs as needed.
Colin, do you want to hang on to the back there just to keep it?
So I'm just going to do a couple pushes. And then
Okay.
Okay, pick that up here. Well, here's another map up here. Okay.
Let me know when. Yeah.
Okay, just start to turn my left leg a little bit.
Left leg. Up.
Okay, good.
Right leg.
Yeah.
There we go.
So this chair is pretty comfortable. As you can see, it's pretty similar to a wheelchair seat cushion. If you were going to do a hike and you thought that your seat cushion was similar to the Trailrider cushion, it just all Velcros on, so you can switch as needed. So at this point, I feel pretty secure. I'll get you to lean the back a bit.
Okay.
And then we'll move my chair out of the way so we can hook in the other armrest.
All right, so we just recline. We can recline the backrest here with these two knobs. And Eric, once we put the front forks on, you'll tilt back a little bit as well. So
yeah.
It'll help make it more comfortable.
But right now I feel pretty safe and secure. I know I got my legs underneath me.
So then I'm going to put these back on here. Maybe Colin, can I get you still at the back a little bit? Sure.
And as you can see, the Trailrider is all held together by locking pins. And it's a durable aluminum. So if you're a Sherpa, it's easy for me to say, but I always hear people say the Trailrider itself is not as heavy as it looks.
No. Probably about as heavy as it looks.
All right, so we've got those back on.
So another thing we should mention is you can see I'm a, shall we say, full-grown rider, but for those who are of kids or of a smaller stature, we also have an insert that can help shrink the seat or give you, so you don't feel like the seat's too big for you. So
Yeah,
can you just
so
show
we
that
have
insert, Alex?
this child insert here. And so this attaches into the back of the Trailrider and just helps make it a little bit more snug for a smaller rider. So that's something we can insert as well. We also have different headrests, so just to provide some more head support, and some foam padding as well to help provide more cushioning if needed.
So for myself, I have some trunk control. I'm able to hold myself upright, but if you did need more cushioning on the side or want to pad in your elbows, that's what Alex has talked about. And also you can bring your own padding, and we're happy to insert it right into the Trailrider. The whole focus is that you're as comfortable as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So
I will move this out of the way here, just like that. If you bring a chair with you, we can keep it in our storage container, so you don't have to worry about it. It's all locked up. If you don't have somewhere else to put it.
So I've turned it down to the lowest speed for you.
Okay.
And you can sit in it if you want. I know you want to live the dream, Alex.
I don't have to go too far now. So yeah, we usually put all the pieces together in the chair, so we don't lose anything. And it goes right in here where it's nice and safe until the end of the hike. That. So today we're doing a hike at Pacific Spirit Park. It's one of our many hiking locations. Definitely the most popular. There's lots of different trails we can do in here. I think there's about 50 kilometers of trails, so depending on how far you want to go. We also do lots of hikes elsewhere in the Lower Mainland. We can go to the North Shore, hikes like Lighthouse Park or Lynn Valley. We also can go to Bunsen Lake or Port Coquitlam and do hikes out there as well. So anywhere that you want to go, we can probably do it.
I like that commitment.
Yeah.
Probably do it.
Depends on the volunteers. But so for today, we'll just head straight down the trail behind us here, across the road and down to a little bog. So as we get going, you'll see that.
But the great thing about this hike is it's a great way to try out the Trailrider for the first time. It's got a lot of trees, but the paths are pretty smooth. So it's a great first-time hike for the rider and the volunteer. So you can kind of build up to what you want to get comfortable with. This is actually where I did my first hike many years ago. And the other great thing about the hike is there's accessible washrooms right next to our trailer here. As you can see, it's all been nicely ramped, nice and smooth, so you can get up here and do the transfer. As Alex pointed out, all your personal items are safe in here, and it's accessible by the major bus routes, being the number 25 UBC and the number 33 UBC, which stop right outside the park. So it literally drops you right off in front of this entrance.
All right, so the last thing we're gonna do, Eric, is we're gonna actually put these seatbelts on. There's 2 seatbelts on the Trailrider, one around the waist, and then there's also a chest strap as well, which Eric probably won't use, but...
I'll go for the waist one.
Okay. So we've got the waist one on.
But you can just show how the chest one goes in case anybody's curious.
Okay, and so this one goes right under armpits there. Thanks, Aaron. Just like that. So that's another option as well. And Eric, how are you feeling in there? Anything need to be adjusted?
Pretty good so far, I think.
Okay.
What do you suggest people bring when they're coming on a hike?
When you come on a hike, you want to bring clothes that you're comfortable in, depending on the weather. Either warm clothes if you're gonna get cold, and water as well. Especially for the clients and the volunteers, always bring water with you.
And for myself, I definitely coated up with suntan lotion before going, and as you can see, I'm wearing a hat. And even though you're not, as the rider, exerting the same level of physical exercise, as Alex said, you'd want water. Usually we bring it on a hike because nobody wants to get dehydrated or anything like that. And if you do have body temperature issues, even on a sunny day, it's quite a few degrees cooler in amongst the trees. So you just want to make sure you find that balance, and you're going to know your body best of being able to stay warm and comfortable, but not too hot.
Yep. So we're gonna hit the trail now.
Enjoying nature, so if you want to stop and eat lunch or look around, that's where I can be on the kickstand and know that I'm not going to fall over and be safe.
So we'll take it off the kickstand here, and it's just the opposite. So I'm gonna pull forward, and Colin's just gonna let it down very gently so it's nice and smooth for the client. The kickstand will flick up, and then we are ready to go. So we'll walk down the ramp here, and
So what trail do you figure we'll be on today, Alex?
I don't know the name of it, but oh, sorry, puppy.
As you can see, Pacific Spirit is a full friendly dog park. And if you have a dog, you can bring it along on a hike. Sometimes there's been hikes where it's a smaller dog and the riders have the dog on their lap, and other times volunteers will bring dogs and have it with them.
Yeah. We always welcome dogs on the hikes.
Good morning.
So okay, Eric?
Yeah, so far so good. So right now, as you can see, it's very loungy and relaxing. Alex and Colin have the Trailrider at a perfect level, so I'm not tilting at all. And what I'm always conscious of is I really appreciate what we call the Sherpas, the volunteers that are enabling me to go on a hike, so I want to make sure they're comfortable. So if Colin at this point, he's my balance person. He's setting the back for me, and Alex is keeping the Trailrider at a level that's good for her and Colin as well. So how does it feel in the back for you, Colin? No.
Feels great, no problem.
Yeah. And so when Alex is chirping here, from my perspective, she's just got a loose grip on the what we call the front forks. So when she's chirping, you can see it's just going at a walking pace, and you want to Sherpa with your arms fairly loose, would you say, Alex? Like you don't want your arms too tight throughout the whole hike, right?
Yeah, fairly loose. Keeps it easy on the arms. It's not too heavy in the front, especially with the person in the back. It's a pretty even load, so it's not bad at all.
So again, for me, the comfort of being in the Trailrider is like some of this park absolutely you could do in a wheelchair, you could do in a manual or a power chair. But I've gone on cruises in my chair before where I thought I would be okay and then I got stuck. And I know that when I'm in the Trailrider, I can go anywhere I want and I'll be safe. And as you can see, you get to hang out with pretty cool people, and it's a social thing. We definitely believe at BCMOS, the more the merrier. So you were, and this is definitely, as I said, a great hike to get started out on, but Alex, you were telling me about a more adventurous hike you did yesterday at Bunsen.
Yeah, we do hikes out at Bunsen Lake. We can actually put the Trailrider right into the water, so the client gets to dip their toes in or their legs as well. We can do some more challenging trails, a little bit more technical, so that it's a bit more exciting for everybody. But those ones are fun as well to do.
So Bunsen Lake, does that involve like, it's not as smooth of a trail, or does it involve like more lifting of somebody, or?
Yeah, a lot more hills, ups and downs, and then there's routes as well that we're lifting over, so it's not quite as smooth or wide, it's more single track and more of that hiking experience. And then good views of the lake the whole way around as well, so it's a lot of fun.
And what's your favorite hike so far this year?
My favorite hike's probably 4 lakes out at Alice Lake. We can hike all 4 lakes, but usually just do 2. It takes about 2.5 hours. And again, we can put the Trailrider right in the lake. People can go for a swim if they want. And it's a good spot to stop for lunch as well at Fawn Lake there. So that one's pretty fun and again, pretty technical with big trees and lots of stuff to look at.
And where is that lake? Is that on the North Shore, or?
That's out in Squamish, so it's a pretty far destination hike.
I was going to say, you went all the way out in Squamish.
Yep. Yeah, we can go as far as you want, but yeah, Squamish, it's a fun hike. Anytime there's a lot more lifting or hills, you'll see when we get to a hill up ahead that it's a lot more work, a bit of a heavier load, so that's when we like to have more people to shift off when you start to get tired. Okay. Aaron, you want to give it a try? How's it going? Good.
Thanks, Aaron.
All right, so we swapped Aaron in here.
Yeah, we've done what's called a Sherpa switch. So now I have Aaron in the front, and Colin is staying in the back. So Aaron, you were on the hike yesterday too, right?
No, I was on one. The last one we went to was actually here, but the first hike I ever went on was the lighthouse.
Yeah, Lighthouse Park.
Lighthouse is actually on my to-do list in the Trailrider,
It was
and
fun.
and as Alex would say, that is definitely a more technical hike.
Yeah, we found that out quite quickly.
Yeah, so
Definitely
but
one we want more Sherpas for.
as you can imagine, so as Alex said, I've never hiked out in Squamish, and what is required, because the vehicle that Alex has only has another seat in it, and of course is carrying the trail riders. So clients and volunteers, we ask that they get themselves to the hiking location, and then as you can see, once you have, Alex will make sure that you're safe and lead the way. And Lighthouse is on my to-do list, but some of my favorite ones, I got to experience Quarry Rock last year, and that was definitely eight volunteers came out for that one, and that was out in the North Shore, and we did lots of they did lots of lifting. If you can imagine lifting this upstairs and working together, and so there we were up around Deep Cove, and I was on top of Quarry Rock looking out, and that to me that really sums up what BCMOS can offer, because if I wasn't in the Trailrider, I never would have been able to have that experience. So that's a memorable one for me. Another one that really when I was starting out doing trail riding, cemented my love for it, was going on the Lynn Canyon suspension bridge, which is far too narrow for a wheelchair. And anybody who's a wheelchair user can tell you most of your life you're looking up at things, having to look up at people, etc. And when I was on Lynn Canyon suspension bridge, just like when I was on Quarry Rock, it was one of the rare times I got to look down. So it was, I've definitely had some amazing experiences, including going to Garibaldi Lake that I otherwise wouldn't have had. So those are some of my favorite memories. Colin, you've been volunteering with us for 2 years, right?
Yeah, I have. It's such an awesome experience to do that every day. You know, every chance you can get, and just kind of go places you normally wouldn't go.
Well, that's what I have heard from other Sherpas is sometimes there's places you want to go, but you don't want to do it on your own. So it seems like a pretty cool thing to be able to do it together.
It's also such a great opportunity to connect with different people every day. New Sherpas, new clients each time. Alex is always there, but she's
Yeah.
She's
You'll
okay.
only see my face.
Yeah. What a ringing endorsement, Colin. We'll add that to your business card.
Yeah.
Alex
I think
is
so.
always
She's
there.
okay.
And she's okay.
Alex is a great coordinator.
Oh, I don't know. It's too late now. You went from okay to great. So again, at this point, I feel very comfortable. I don't feel like I'm leaning in any way. I should mention there is a wheel underneath me. So if they didn't need to lift up, that's how it works. And for anybody who's using the Trailrider or would happen to rent it on their own, we do rent it. It's a wheelbarrow wheel underneath, and you never want the wheel too inflated because the wheel, of course, is right underneath my butt, and you want the wheel to have some give in it, especially if the Sherpas need to lift or roll me over something. But as you can see in beautiful Pacific Spirit Park, it's pretty easy going.
So we're just gonna go across the road here and pick up the trail on the other side.
What are some of the upcoming hikes you have planned this week?
This week I have a couple Lynn Valley hikes. So we start at Lynn Headwaters and go into Rice Lake. Last time I was out at the suspension bridge, it was under construction, so I don't know if that's actually available for this season, but
even if you don't do the suspension bridge, there's a number of nice hikes out there.
yeah. So we're doing that one, and then there's also a few hikes in Surrey that we'll be doing. Tynehead Park and Green Timbers Park out there.
So what's Tynehead like? I've never been. Is that kind of a...
It's pretty similar to Pacific Spirit. Go this way here. It's a similar style of park. There's just a few more creeks and rivers, more of a like fish habitat going on in there. So it's pretty nice. Again, like kind of the old trees and things like that down here. But again, it's still like an easier hike. It's not too challenging. It's a good beginner hike, that's for sure.
As you can see on the turns there, you know, I can feel completely safe. My body didn't move at all. So it's just really, if it's going to be a tight turn, Aaron and Colin would communicate with one another, and you just kind of follow the path. And as you can see, you just got to, the Sherpas are always good at judging the distance of how wide they need to turn. But at this point, yeah, it almost feels like I'm sitting in a mobile hammock.
How are your arms doing? They're good. You're okay? Colin, you're okay?
So how many volunteers did you have with you on the hike yesterday?
Bunsen Lake, I had 3 volunteers. So we had 2 trail riders, so 2 people for each trail rider. I was involved, and we had some fun with it. Turned it into a bit of a race, and I'd like to say that my team won. So,
Well, see, that's why I knew you'd want to mention that, because I knew you'd want to mention
Yeah.
about the win, right?
yeah, exactly. So if you want to take me on, my team on,
So it's BCMOS,
yeah.
safety first, but race to win kind of thing.
Yeah.
And of course, it's easier if you're Sherping kids, I'm sure, than somebody like me. Less weight to Sherpa, right?
You're pretty light, Eric.
Oh, says you who's not Sherping at the moment.
Like a feather.
Yeah.
I'll take over on the hill.
So on my to-do list at Pacific Spirit is to, I still haven't got to Kamunson Bog. Have you done Kamunson Bog yet this year?
I have not
Which
with a client.
Yeah, which is about, I think,
It's about 2 hours.
2-hour hike, and that's deeper in the park. And one year, we were gonna go, and I was with.
You said you want to give it a try?
I was with a coordinator who's filled in for
Leave it up
Alex,
to Aaron.
Marty, and we thought we were at the bog, and then it turns out we never made it. So, I have seen most of Pacific Spirit, but I've never made it to the bog. So that might be on my to-do list later this year. Another hike that I really like, that you definitely, I wouldn't advise doing in a power chair, but you can do in a Trailrider, is along the beach.
Yeah.
Spanish Banks or Jericho Beach. And yeah, if you're in the Trailrider, you don't have to worry about getting sand on your electric wheelchair. And as Alex said, the Trailrider does go in the water, and at low tide, you can get put in right in the ocean at Jericho Beach. So that's been a fun experience. Have you done you've done some series of hikes too out in the Tri-Cities, right?
Yes.
Kind of like,
Where is that?
well, that's like Coquitlam and
Oh, okay.
Rocky Point. Those are other ones that it's
Yeah.
on my list of things to do that I hear are pretty good.
There's a cool one out there called Crystal Falls. It's a relatively flat trail. Colin actually helped me with that one.
That was one of my favorites.
And it's relatively flat. There's not too much elevation gain, but there's a bunch of trees and logs and creeks across the trail. So you're lifting up and over those or going through the creek.
How many Sherpas?
We're too deep.
Hold on a sec, hold still.
I'll see if we can get comments.
So,
I think so.
so I think we had a question. How many Sherpas do you need on an average hike? And are people welcome to be first-timers and come out and bring their friends? So from a rider perspective, I always feel better when the more Sherpas, the better. And we have a first-time volunteer with us here today. So you can always come out and bring your friends, and hopefully they fall in love with hiking as well. And it depends on the hike, right, Alex?
Yeah, so usually I like to have at least 2 volunteers for each trail rider. That way I can kind of sub in if someone gets tired. But definitely for the more challenging hikes, we like to have more volunteers. There's never too many volunteers for a challenging hike, just so that everyone can get a bit of a break and we're not pushing everyone too hard. But yeah, and then for first-time volunteers, they're always welcome. The trail rider's pretty easy to get used to and figure out. Like we said, it's pretty light, so especially in the front, it's a good position for a first-timer. And it's always good for people to bring friends. It just keeps the conversation going, and so it's a lot more fun with more people.
And from a rider perspective, as I said, like I want the volunteers to enjoy it too. And so I always feel like, yeah, if there's more people, then you can spell each other off. And it's not about getting overtired. So, and then it enables you, because hopefully, you know, you get it from a volunteer perspective, you get a neat experience and you can get a workout, but not too much that you want to come back. So.
Much better than a gym.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask, like, from people who go to a gym, or Alex has done like marathons and stuff, how does the workout of handling a trail rider differ? Or
It's
It depends on the hike.
yeah.
Like the lighthouse park hike, that was, you'd need some strength because you're just lifting over things, and you definitely feel like you did a workout afterwards. So it's a good way to just coming out here with these guys. You meet people, you're getting a workout, but then you're also the reason that people with different disabilities can actually get out and enjoy trails and hikes, because they need as many volunteers as possible. As you can see, this can't work with just one hike coordinator. You need people to come out and help with it. So, but from a workout point of view, I was definitely sweating on that hike.
Yeah. You get a little bit of an arm workout as well, depending on if you're in the front or the back of the trail rider. But it's not to the point where you think your arms are going to fall off. So it's a good balance.
well, that's good, because we wouldn't want anybody's arms falling off. So,
There's always nice places to stop and just enjoy the scenery. So as you said before, it's not a rush. Like you're not trying to race through it.
Unless you're Alex.
Yeah. But that's only for certain times. There's a time and a place to race.
Very much choose your own adventure.
yeah. Well, that is what I like with BCMOS. I just think if you want a volunteer experience that's truly hands-on and you're going to be needed, then that's then it's a good fit for you for sure. And it doesn't help if it doesn't hurt rather if you like the outdoors too. If you like the outdoors, it's not a bad job, right, Alex?
Not at all. There's definitely trails and places I've been that I wouldn't have gone otherwise that were definitely worth going to. So can't complain spending the summer outside in the sun and in the forest, meeting lots of different people.
Also, as a volunteer, the scheduling is very convenient because you're not locked into like a weekly routine. You can kind of just come out and volunteer whenever you have the time, and it makes it very easy to come out when you can.
So can you just talk about that, Alex, a little bit about the schedule?
Yeah, so we run hikes from Wednesday to Sunday. We usually try and book 3 different time slots throughout the day. So one hike starting at 10 o'clock, another at 1 o'clock, and the third at 4 o'clock. Schedules, there's about times that you can volunteer at, and usually the weekends too a good time for people to help out.
Sure.
It's pretty easy.
Sorry if the stream cut out there. So we've done another Sherpa switch.
First timer.
First timer,
Alright.
yeah, so you're just gonna hold on the black handles and walk. That's all there is to it. Oh. Wait for our tech guy. Keep up, David, come on. We're racing.
All right.
We're good.
We can wrap up here.
Okay. So yeah, we're just almost back at the BCMOS trailer here. So just wanted to thank you all for tuning in to the live stream, and hopefully we'll see you out on the trails.
And again, I really enjoyed myself today. Thanks again to the volunteers. You can book hikes this year online at www.bcmos.org. And our whole goal again is that you have an experience. That's why we did today. So also want to mention that you can either do a hike with Alex here, racing optional of course, for $10, or you can also rent it. And that means if you had a hike that you wanted to do with friends and family, maybe involve some camping, We would also rent it to you for $10 a day. Definitely during our active summer season, give us more notice on the rentals, but rentals are also an option. So thanks again to all of our volunteers, and hope this leads to more hikes and more volunteering.